I had it canceled, and the day before, what if I need it? And what if I want to watch a movie on Prime? And it was the claws of marketing and dopamine and my addiction to stuff is really a lot deeper than I want to admit. And there's no amount of stuff, especially when I have to manage all of that stuff, that is safety. So it's a lie. It's the lie that I've been telling myself that if I have the right curtains, or if I have the right throw pillows, or if I have the right clearance flower notebook journal to write in, everything's going to be okay. It's a lie. I have been deeply entrenched in identity, in things, and in coziness, and in safety and peace. When I went on that podcast interview and felt like an imposter, there was this man who was interviewing me who has this big financial company. And it wasn't that he had a private jet or all those things. Yes, I felt pangs of jealousy, but really what I wanted was his passion. Peace, a peaceful life is wonderful, but what's more enticing than peace is passion, drive, purpose. I want to be able to convey to my audience that you don't need the thing, and that putting in Freedom app and clearing out your ability to buy on this thing that is not our friend. I'm not sponsored by any of them. Knowing that there's no pair of gym shorts or swim top that's going to change how you feel about yourself or how others are going to perceive you. There is nothing out there that's going to fix what's inside unless we just fix what's inside. I'm Teresa. I am a former trauma therapist. I used to own a treatment facility with my ex-husband in Florida. We officially got divorced about a year ago. And 3 years prior to that, when we separated, we started negotiations. And I became a creator on TikTok and was pretty successful. I still have a follow like 22,000, but I monetized on TikTok within a year and found myself unable to read a book by the end of that year because my attention span was sort of decimated by short form content. Since January, I have taken it off my phone and I still post through my computer. I talk a lot about frugality, minimalism, early retirement, and right now stopping shopping has been the theme. I went on a financial podcast Thursday. For the first time, it was my first interview on a podcast about retiring early, and some feelings of imposter syndrome came up, even though I am in my apartment and I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I was thinking about why I had so much feelings coming up. And one, I rededicated my life to a low buy, not this year, not season, not for however long. I have been on and off the minimalism roller coaster for years because a lot of the world has a low key or high key shopping addiction. The dopamine hedonic treadmill and the 24/7 marketing and the ease with which we can bring things into our life, coupled with the stress of modern day life and maybe fears about the economy. For me, shopping has always been a salve to any negative feeling, and sometimes even positive ones. I think my whole life I had body dysmorphia, comparison, my desire to be popular and well-liked. He was an obsession of mine from the time I was a really young child, and it always backfired because I had extremely low self-worth, feelings of inadequacy, and I still have those things. I'm 43 years old. And a lot of it, as a former trauma therapist, stems from patterns from childhood, but also from watching things like MTV Cribs or MTV Spring Break. I'm from 1983. I'm from the 1900s. Thinking that things or a hot boyfriend, being in with the in crowd was going to fix whatever anxiety was in me. Buying little things over and over and over again to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. At this point, looking at my history of spending, knowing the stuff is very important, and the scrolling and the cute garden gnome or the toilet seat covers that I just bought. There are so many temptations. $17, $15, $30, hundreds of thousands of dollars over 19 plus years of being on the minimalism, the declutter, reclutter roller coaster. I started off in January when I quit TikTok with a low buy year, trying to get my finances in order, but I allowed myself the thrift store and Amazon. And I even have in former videos this debate of whether I was going to renew Amazon in April. I could be a multimillionaire by now had I adopted this frugality mindset in my early 20s. I got sober at 24 years old. And there is this brief period of time in graduate school when I read the book, Your Money or Your Life, where I had some light bulb moments pop up over 19 years in the making. The other things I'm going to look at, but understanding that I'm not stronger than the algorithm, like taking TikTok off my phone, game changer. I have the Freedom app. I have Instagram, Facebook, Amazon blocked 6 days a week. And I'm considering upping that block to several months, because even if I could save $2 on something, buying it on Amazon versus going to Costco, physically going to a store, I have an affinity for grandma chic, cozy minimalism, cozy maximalism. I love a AI meditation video where there's a fire in a library in Scotland somewhere in a castle with stuff everywhere and this cozy rainy day. My grandmother's houses growing up were the safe place, so I'm constantly trying to recreate safety through these things. It's all a lie. I was watching a creator this morning who makes over $200,000 a year. He's 26. I love Charles Brumfeld. He was talking about his savings rate and his rent and how he's just grateful to have electricity and clean running water. He pays $750 a month in rent. And he's really appreciative of the things that he has. And someone commented, "You were really raised right." And I'm like, yeah, I don't fault my family of origin. They don't know what they don't know, and they can't teach me. And I'm teaching myself, and I'm here to teach you, which is why I'm doing this. I'm passionate about getting out of the rat race, getting out of the indentured servitude to stuff. From what I've heard, when you stop shopping, it's about 30 to 90 days of difficulty. And I have cried massively in the past 2 days just about stuff that's come up, because I'm not shopping. I'm not numbing or repressing. I'm not pushing away any of the stuff. And the imposter syndrome coming up was such a keen, it needed to be processed. It's something that I haven't been processing. And I show up here and I talk about frugality and minimalism, and I'm also struggling in my own life with these things. And yeah, so imposter syndrome is popping up, but we don't have to be perfect to post. We don't have to be perfect to tell our story. And I was popping in ChatGPT after processing on my own what had happened. And the feedback I was getting was about this businessman that I know in Florida. He sold his last business for $27 million, and he was a friend of mine. And he would always joke that we had very similar personalities. When we would go into groups of people, he would light up a room. Everybody loved this man. His family, his wife, his friends, everyone from the homeless man on the street to his peers. What stuck out to me most was not just that this man was extremely successful, was that he was well loved and he was content and he was humble and he was kind. He challenged a lot of my belief systems. I'm getting emotional about wealth and kindness because I grew up with negative money scripts around people with money and that they couldn't be good people. And so what I'm trying to do now is align with that type of energy, because he had a passion for what he did. He used to always say, "You're the golden goose, not the golden egg. If something fails, you start over. Gold is within you. It's not the thing that you're producing." I was looking at my burn rate recently. I make just about six figures a year. And if I'm spending only on the essentials like bills, food, car repair, my home, I'm spending about 55 to 60%. That means I could have a 50-ish to 40% savings rate. And I had the Freedom app only Monday through Friday. So this morning I woke up and I got on Amazon and there was so many things. I scrolled because I haven't been able to look at it all week, right? Because I took off the ability to turn it off. At first on the Freedom app, you could do the take a 5-minute break. I took all of that away. So I do not have access on my computer or my phone for the Monday through Friday. And this morning I woke up and I was able to scroll. And I put all this stuff on my cart. And then I started to feel this feeling, and I put on a YouTube video, long form video about not spending money and about overcoming shopping addiction. And as much as I wanted those things, I deleted all of it and I put another 24 hours on it. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I went grocery shopping last night for essentials at Costco. And because the last two trips have been big trips, a $500 trip and $400 trip, this one was less than $400. And honestly, I have enough food for probably a month and a half. I'm no longer interested in stuff in the way that I used to. I have enough. I am enough. There is no thing that is going to fix the anxiety or stress that I'm feeling because it's an inside job. I've wanted to sit in meditation. I wanted to be happy, joyous, and free. I want to be like that businessman, documenting the journey and hoping to find other people who are doing this. I've criticized certain creators on YouTube who made this kind of content thinking, I'm not like that. And then I slip right back into it. And then I go back to those creators and it's a completely different perspective. I look at them and I think, oh my God, I am you. It's not just you. We're all being marketed to excessively, endlessly, all the time. And the anxiety that I have felt my whole life, the not enoughness, the comparison, it does feel like wasted time, but I also know that words don't always teach. It's often life experience that teaches. If you're on a learning path, feel free to join me. Lower your burn rate if you can. Save as much as you can for your future self. I am technically retired early. I don't have to work again for the rest of my life. I have set it all up. But recently I have been dipping into my savings and almost eliminating that possibility. I have 2 credit cards and I'm going to pay them off next month and cancel them both. I have credit and stream because I own a fourplex in Florida and I don't even care about credit and stream. If I never own another house again and I rent for the rest of my life, that's okay. It's okay with me. But I do want to create. The thing that I really liked about that businessman in Florida is that he enjoyed creating. He said, I love starting businesses. I don't like running businesses. And so he would start a business, hire everybody he needed to, and he'd sell it to his manager. And then he'd go do what he wanted, play golf every day, had fun with his friends, had fun with his family, loved his community, gave back. The investments that I'm making in my future self is also the investments I'm making in my relationships. Thanks for being here.